I tell my clients, we're not going to say anything back. 9 times out of 10, what do you all think happens?
They agreed to whatever it was.
They
They
come
know
crawling back.
they call back. And sometimes people just need to sleep on things anyways. A lot of times in negotiations is really just the realtors and their egos going back and forth. It's not even the clients, right? Because you can call an agent and ask them something that your buyer wants, and they'll say, no, we're not doing that. Well, that's not you're not the client, you're not the buyer. You have to take that offer and that information back to your seller and have your seller say yes or no. And sometimes that's not happening. So silent treatment is my top negotiation tip. Again, you're only going to do this if you have 24 hours to give. If you don't have 24 hours to give, then you can't do the silent treatment. Or maybe you can't do it for 24 hours. You may need to do it for 4 hours. Okay. So I don't want y'all coming here and like, Tori made me miss my financing contingency deadline because she told me to wait 24 hours. I'm going to deny it. I did not say that. Okay. Anyone else have any negotiation techniques that you would like to share?
One thing that I do sometimes is if I can tell that the agent is eager to like get the deal done and I have a listing, then I will make sure that they know that I have other people interested, though, or another offer on the table, though it might have been a low ball offer from like an investor, it's still an offer, just to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that my seller's terms can be met. So I'll try that a couple of times and it's done pretty good.
Got it. Thank you, Elijah. Yeah. Have you ever seen, though, a property that has sat on the market for 397 days, and the day that you want to make your offer, they're like, we have multiple offers. I'm like, no, you do not.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, you did it.
this thing has been sitting, but that actually happens. I don't know how the universe does it, but it actually is a thing. That there could be no interest, and then all out of the blue, this listing is having interest. So if you are representing the seller, you could let them know that, hey, we are entertaining other offers at this time. Make sure that your buyer's making their highest and best. Um, Another tip that I'll give you all on the buy side with negotiations and making those offers is that I actually, y'all know I'm low key an investigator. So I will look at the agent's profile on social media, just throw their name in a quick Google search. And if they are on Facebook, I look at the places that they have visited. Do agents tag their locations at closings? Absolutely, they do. So if I believe that there is a multiple offer situation, or I want to be able to leverage my relationship, I could make note of the closing attorney that the listing agent prefers to use. You can do that. You can also just ask, hey, what closing attorney do you use? And this is only on situations where there is a multiple offer situation. And if you're thinking, hey, Tori, that's in the make an offer stage, a negotiating technique is being polite. Being polite, it's a negotiation technique. Hey, being polite, being agreeable, you're going to wait until you get all the way under contract before you cut up, okay? Before you cut up, don't get your client kicked out of a deal. All right. So be nice, be polite. If I'm the listing agent and a buyer's agent submits an offer, it can be the highest offer. If they are nasty, if they're not professional, if they are rude, if their contract is not clean, when I'm speaking to my client about negotiations, I'm going to be thinking about their level of professionalism, and I can discern that they are lower skilled than I am, and I'm going to push the limits with them. Okay. So that's something that you can do, but be polite and look for win-win situations. Number 7 on the value proposition for the buyer, you're going to be looking for vendor coordination. That's fine, Wanda, that's fine. You can turn your camera off. So vendor coordination, They may need you to refer them to a home inspector. They may need you to refer them to a pool inspector. Whatever it is that they may need, you need to have a list of vendors readily available to assist your clients. Okay. My recommendation, of course, is to always offer three. Someone says painter, of course. Painter, and this is, you can actually have these people on go while you're under contract because your client may want to know how much a specific repair or update slash renovation, how much it's going to cost. And so they may have the painter come out and give them a quote so that they can determine if the cost is going to be prohibitive to them purchasing the property. Okay. So make sure that you have those vendors. I recommend having three of each. If you refer one and the deal goes bad, then you could be held liable for referring that one vendor. I always email the client three vendors and I email it to CYA, cover my butt. And I email them three and I tell them in the email to research each individual or each company and let me know which one they'd like me to connect them with. Or if it's an inspection, I will let them know if you want to go ahead and call and schedule that. I don't do that a lot, but I do have some buyers that will go ahead and just go online and schedule their own inspection based on the information that they got from the person's website. Okay. Next up, pre-close preparation. So pre-close preparation, you're going to need to prepare your buyer for closing, especially if you work with first-time home buyers. They've never done this before. So you have to walk them through what this process is going to be like. You are going to be working with preferably a contract to close or transaction coordinator to assist you with meeting your deadlines and making sure that your paperwork is compliant, making sure that your buyer has closing directions. We are never, ever, 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 ever going to send the buyer wiring instructions, but you want to make sure that they have the resources to get that done so that they can be prepared for closing. Number 9, the closing. If you've not had a closing yet, as the agent, you don't do a whole lot at the closing table. However, you do not want to sit at the closing table and have a look on your face that says, I'm just here for my check. You don't want to do that. You do not want to ask for your commission check at the closing table. The closing attorney will provide you with that. They will give it to you in a discreet packet, just like you don't count your tips in public. You don't do anything with that in front of the customer. This is my recommendation. At the closing attorney's office, you can walk your client out. I normally walk them out, say farewells, make sure that they have their gift, do all of that, and then I will go back into the closing attorney's office, and then I will take a look at my check to make sure that it is correct. Okay. So no counting your commissions in public. At the closing, you need to have a model or a system in place. Did I share buyer and seller checklists with you all last week? I don't know if I did, but you want to make sure that you let the buyer know what they need to bring to closing. A lot of times people are moving and they've got things all over the place. And so you want to just give them a gentle reminder to make sure that they bring their driver's license. I said I shared the seller process sheet. Okay, got it. I've got to find the buyer. You see, I don't even know where my buyer checklist is. I have it inside of Google Drive. Nathani said I did. I'll find it. I'll find it. Thank you so much, Nathani, if you would share it. What was I talking about? Bring your driver's license. I asked them to bring a checkbook for those of you who are too young to know what a checkbook is. I joke. I tell them to bring a checkbook. Sometimes the numbers may be off by a couple dollars, and they may need to settle something out with the closing attorney. So I let them know to bring a checkbook and to make sure that they bring their ID. Inform them that at the closing table as the buyer, they're going to be signing, if they're getting a mortgage, They're going to be signing a lot of documents. If you have not had a closing before, I recommend if a closing attorney has reached out to you for business, or if there is a preferred closing attorney that comes to the office, I would, or a class where there's a mock closing. Kimberly says she has it as well. Find a way to attend a closing before you have your first closing. There are some mock closing classes, and there are opportunities if you have a relationship with an attorney for you to sit in on a closing. And then post-closing, I do have a post-closing checklist as well, but have you ever like spent a lot of money with a company and you never hear from them again? It doesn't really feel good. So we want to make sure that we have some follow-up steps at least 12 months out. We want to be contacting them to make sure things are going well. If they buy on a Friday, maybe you want to call them on Monday, ask them how things went. Did they get moved in? You want to just follow up with them at least once a month for the first 3 months to make sure that everything is going well. But you can do it any way that you like. The key is to create a system for contacting them after closing. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing after closing, if it was a good experience for your client, is you want to request a review. Reviews are a way for the public to see what your abilities are, to see what the customer experience has been for other buyers. So in that post-closing checklist, you're going to have, ask for a review. Also, if someone purchased a primary residence in a given year, they will have to file for what's called a homestead exemption. If you're not familiar, the homestead exemption in Georgia will allow the owner, now they're the owner, once they have the property, it will allow them to file and claim that property as their primary residence. And in exchange for that, they receive a lower tax bill. So that would be the furthest thing out. If you're doing new construction, you want to call them at month 10. Write that down. New construction, call them at month 10. Does anyone know why we are making sure that we call a new construction buyer? Why are we calling them at month 10? There's Natasha in the chat. The warranty. The warranty is going to expire in 12 months. The builder will usually require the homeowner to make any request at month 11. So you don't want to wait until month 11. You want to call month 10 and remind them, give them a heads up, say, hey, remember the builder. You have to call the builder for them to come out and fix nails and things from settling in the home. So when you're selling a new home, the home is it's never been lived in. So after it's been lived in for about a year, you may see minor hairline cracks. You may see nails that pop out. You may just see little minor things that are as a result of the home settling.